Ever get this feeling like, the world's just a little off-key, like a song with a wrong note you can't quite place?
Yeah, I can see that.
For someone with dysthymia, that feeling, that's their everyday. And today we're really going deep on how this kind of sneaky form of depression, it gets tangled up with autism in ways you might not expect.
It's a connection, honestly, that we missed for too long,
Yeah.
which is worrying, right?
Mm.
Because on their own, autism, dysthymia, each one's a challenge.
Mm.
But together,
Yeah.
understanding how they play off each other,
Mm.
that's crucial for support.
Absolutely. And that's where you come in, right? Your work on how the brain, our social selves, emotions, how that all works, especially in autism. Invaluable for this deep dive. So first things first, let's clear the air. Dysthymia, not just a bad day, not just feeling blue. This is different.
Right, because separated from just, regular mood swings.
Yeah.
Dysthymia, this is low mood that hangs on. We're talking 2 years, sometimes more. And it's not just feeling down. It's your energy, your interest in stuff you use these to love, your whole outlook impacted.
So picture feeling all that, but you're also navigating the world of autism. Our source, cheap ABA, autism and dysthymia. A complex relationship. They make a good point. So easy to think dysthymia is just, well, part of being autistic.
And that's the danger zone. Miss those signs, big consequences.
Yeah.
Someone pulls back, has trouble engaging, and we think, oh, that's the autism, not, hey, maybe there's dysthymia there. This is why, for anyone listening, touched by autism, this connection, huge.
They're trying to do a jigsaw puzzle, but the pieces are from two different boxes.
Exactly.
You might force it, but the picture's always messed up.
And that messed up picture, that's misdiagnosis, bad support. To get it right, we got to ask why.
Yeah.
Why are these two, autism and dysthymia, why are they so often like hand in hand? What's the root?
Let's dig into those roots, starting with genetics. What we've got suggests that both autism and dysthymia, they share some DNA common ground, right?
Right. Genetic links for both. So someone might inherit, not a guarantee, but think of like certain ingredients in a recipe. Makes the outcome more likely.
Okay, so genetics sets the stage, but then there's the brain itself. How we feel, how we process the world, it all comes back to that.
And this is where it gets cool. For your neuroscience fans out there especially, both autism, dysthymia, they use brain areas that handle mood, social stuff, even sensory input. And in autism, these areas, they often work differently, which means more susceptible to experiencing dysthymia.
Like having a brain that's just more tuned in, not bad on its own, but then layer on top of that a world that can feel so overwhelming.
Exactly. Picture this. You're constantly bombarded by sights, sounds, textures. This sensory hypersensitivity, it's common in autism, and it's exhausting. Constant stress, and over time, that wears down your mood, your well-being. Fuel for dysthymia.
Man, that sounds exhausting, like running a marathon every single day.
It can be.
Yeah.
And we can't forget the social side of this, right? Difficulty with social interaction, that's core autism. But what does that lead to? Feeling isolated, lonely. And that chips away at self-esteem. So you're navigating situations that are confusing, overwhelming, constant anxiety, feeling like you don't belong, that social strain day after day. Major contributor to dysthymia in people with autism.
So it's this perfect storm almost. Genetics, your brain, how you process senses, the social challenges. But like tracking a storm, we can learn to spot the signs of dysthymia, even when they're quiet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Catching it early, that's key. It's that shift in the wind before the storm hits full force. We see the signs. We can get support in place faster.
So for anyone listening thinking, okay, this is hitting home, but how do I actually see dysthymia, especially with all the autism stuff mixed in? What are we looking for? What shouldn't we ignore?
And that is where it gets tricky. Because dysthymia, it's not a shout, it's a whisper, especially with autism already there. But there are key things.
Well, let's break them down. Knowledge is power, right? Especially with mental health. What's on the list?
Okay, so sadness that just won't quit. Not your regular ups and downs. This is low mood that's like always there, like a gray cloud just hanging there. And it's not just the sadness either. It's that loss of interest. Stuff you used to do to love, it's just, and not even one specific thing. It's more like this overall I don't care feeling. Hard to shake.
And that's where, again, it's easy to get tripped up, right? I think it's the autism, not dysthymia.
Exactly. And then physically, fatigue, big one. Doesn't matter how much sleep you get, that tiredness is always there. Appetite changes too, eating way more, way less. It's all over the map.
Like the body's reflecting what's going on inside. And speaking of inside, what about like how you think?
Oh, that's huge. Dysthymia makes it tough to focus. And then these feelings creep in. Worthlessness, hopelessness, like a broken record in your head, this constant critic, whispering doubts, making it hard to see, anything good about yourself.
Okay, so We've got the emotional stuff, physical stuff, how our thinking's affected. What now? Someone hears this, they're like, this is me or someone I know. What's the next move?
If you see those signs, bunch them together, and they stick around. More than 2 weeks. Please, talk to someone. Doctor, therapist, whoever's right for you. Don't ignore it. Don't try to muscle through. Getting help early, that's how we get you the right support so you can actually, feel better.
It's about speaking up for yourself, for someone you care about, to get the help you deserve. And you're not alone in this. So we know what to look for, but what about support? What really makes a difference when it's both autism and dysthymia?
Good news is we're not starting from zero, right? We've learned so much about each one on its own. Now it's putting the pieces together. And I'll be honest, no magic bullet here. It's finding the right combo because everyone's different.
Like a puzzle, but we want the pieces that make this picture for this person.
Exactly. Meds can have a place. Antidepressants, for some folks, they can help get the brain chemistry back on track, mood-wise. But it's rarely the whole answer, more like one tool in the kit.
Right, like a wrench. Useful, but you wouldn't use it for every job.
There you go. And that's where therapy's huge, Gigi. It gets at what you're thinking, how you handle emotions, stuff that's often tangled up in both autism and dysthymia.
And one that seems to really click is CBT, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy, for folks who aren't familiar. What's the deal with that?
So CBT is all about catching those thoughts that drag you down. The always and nevers, like I'll never have friends or I screw up everything.
Which, let's be real, with dysthymia, those thoughts are loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And CBT helps you go, hold on, is that really true? Find proof against those thoughts, get a more, realistic view.
Yeah.
You're basically rewriting the story you tell yourself.
Love that. And does it help with the sensory overload stuff too? Because you mentioned that being a big deal.
Oh yeah. CBT gives you tools for those big emotions, the sensory stuff that comes with autism. You learn your triggers and how to handle them when they pop up.
Like learning a new language, almost. But for your emotions, so they don't totally swamp you.
Perfect analogy. But we're not done yet. Social skills training, that's got to be on the table too.
Makes sense. Social struggles, that's so much of autism. And it feeds the dysthymia, right? So getting better at that should help how you feel overall.
You got it. This kind of training, it gives you a safe space to practice the stuff we do without even thinking. Starting conversations, reading those little cues, body language, even those unspoken social rules that can be so confusing.
Like having a coach, right? It's teaching you the plays so you feel confident enough to, get on the field. Speaking of fields, what about the sensory overload? You said that can be a lot.
Huge. Think about it. If your senses are always on high alert, it's like this background hum that never stops. Makes it harder to concentrate, to relax, to manage any emotions. So taming that, essential.
Like trying to talk in a room full of people shouting, maybe? Their brain can't process anything else.
But exactly. Sensory integration therapy, this is where it comes in. It's about creating this sensory experience, but in a controlled way. Helps you manage your reactions.
What's that look like in action?
Picture a room, right? But it's got swings, weighted blankets, toys with different textures, soft lighting. It's all designed to give you that input, but in a safe way, so it doesn't overwhelm you.
A sensory playground, but with a purpose.
I like that. And the therapist, they work with you in that space
Yeah.
to help you get those senses in check, to not be so thrown by strong stimuli, to have ways of handling that stuff in daily life.
So the calmer the senses, the better you can handle emotions, social situations. Everything's just a little easier, like you're clearing the static off a radio signal.
Yeah, that is a good one. And the best part, meds, therapy, social skills, sensory work, it can all work together. Each thing boosts the others. It's building that support system that really fits the person.
A whole team, each one an expert, making a plan for you. And I think just as important, it gives you that sense of, I've got this, the tools, the knowledge to take care of yourself.
100%. See the strengths, honor the experiences, and build a world that gets it. Neurodiversity, all of it. Because there's no one right way to experience the world.
It's about moving from just got a deal to, no, I deserve help. There are ways to do this. And that, anyone listening who needed to hear it, write it on a billboard. But that makes me think, something we haven't really hit yet. What if we're wrong? We see the sadness, the low energy, not connecting with people, and we think, oh, that's the autism, not dysthymia. What then?
Ooh, yeah, that's where things get, kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah.
Because if we just assume those things are built in to autism, not separate, We might be denying someone treatment that could change their whole life.
Like someone's walking with a limp and we just figure that's how they walk, never thinking, what if it's an injury, something we can fix? We gotta at least ask, is this really just them or is there something else there?
Exactly. And the thing is, if we assume wrong, that's huge for the person living it. Imagine the frustration feeling like you're broken, misunderstood, when really it's a treatable thing all along, like you're given the wrong lines for a play and then getting in trouble when you can't make it work.
And that's what's so important about all this, right? Digging into autism and dysthymia together makes you question those assumptions, be more aware. And hopefully anyone listening, it makes you want to push for better help, support that's really tailored to you. Autism shapes how you see the world, but it's not the whole picture.
Because here's the deal. The right tools, the right support, and knowing your experiences are valid. That's where amazing things can happen. Seeing strengths, honoring what people go through, and just, I don't know, making a world that gets it. Neurodiversity in all its forms, no one right way to be.
So as we kind of wrap up this whole deep dive here into autism and dysthymia being so intertwined, what's the one thing you hope people really take with them?
It is complicated, this connection, but it's hopeful too. Understand the link, see the signs, and get support that hits all the angles. That's how people can really thrive. Be more aware, more resilient, and know that things can get better.
It's that shift, right? From just pushing through to, no, I deserve support. There are options. Whether it's your journey or you love someone on theirs, that's huge EE. Knowledge is power. Using it for yourself or your people, that's strength.
100%. And if this got you thinking, wondering, whatever it is, talk to someone. Doctor, therapist, whoever's right for you. You're not alone in this. Help is out there and asking for it. That's smart. It means you're paying attention.
Couldn't agree more. Asking for help, that's not giving up, it's taking charge. And that's something to be proud of. Until next time, everyone, keep those questions coming, keep digging for answers, and keep on diving deep into this wild world we're in.